Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. An engineer, jewelry designer, and now self-taught chef, Nikita effortlessly wears many hats. She's always been an avid foodie, and the lockdown gave her an opportunity to convert this passion into a successful brand with Salt and All. As a recipe developer and food blogger, Nikita is drawn to indigenous ingredients and brands which she highlights through her dishes. Her love for food has also taken her to places remote and famous to document local cuisines. Nikita's ultimate goal is to make Salt and All the one-stop destination for vegetarian home
Hi,
cooking.
Nikita. Welcome to Impact Duty.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. I've been really excited to speak to you because you've been my food inspiration for all of April. I've tried out your dips. I've tried out your roll, the lettuce roll, and
Yes.
there's so much more that I'm still to discover. So you've actually been my food inspiration for last month, and I can't wait to talk to you about all inspiration that's come into your life in the last 2 years and your journey within food. So Nikita,
Thank
where
you
did it
so
all
much.
begin?
So actually it started during lockdown. I just started, food has always been my passion. I have been cooking since the age of 14. I had temporarily moved to France for a year. It was a cultural exchange. So being vegetarian, I had no choice but to cook for myself, because they are hardcore meat lovers. I was staying with a French family. So that's where it started. I started cooking. I started learning a few things myself, experimenting. And since then, I've realized that I do enjoy cooking. And I've also lived in London for about 3 years. So I had to cook there as well when I was studying. So it's just been part of my journey. And, restaurants were shut during the initial phase of lockdown. And I thought, why not create things at home? Because we would hardly, have these kind of like fancy dishes and everything because we couldn't order anything in or go out. So I started with that journey during lockdown. I started posting recipes on my personal profile, and then everyone would keep telling me, why don't you just create a designated profile so that it's all in one place. And I thought, okay, let's try this. So I started Salt and All. The reason behind the name is because salt actually goes in everything. It's the most important ingredient you need to flavor anything, be it desserts or savory food. So yeah, that's how Salt and All started, and it's been quite the journey since.
I like the fact that you highlighted that salt goes into absolutely everything, including desserts, because I realized that actually salt is the hidden ingredient in many cakes to give it just
it is. Yeah.
But
even cheesecakes, if you think about it, cream cheese does have salt. Like even mascarpone cheese has salt. So it literally is part of every possible dish that you make.
And I love the name, Salt and All. Really, it's a catchy name. But before you started your journey with food during the pandemic, what did you do? Because I believe...
I studied engineering in London. I came back in 2012. I worked in the field for about 2 years. And I've always been a creative child. So anything, you give me a pen and paper, I'll just create something. Like that's always been my thing.
Right.
So my mom used to manufacture gold and diamond jewelry. She used to design jewelry. So I started seeing what she's doing, and it kind of got me interested. So I started working with her, which I did until the pandemic started. And obviously everything was on a hold during that. So I thought, let's channel this creative energy into something else. And that's how food happened. So actually I'm an engineer. I'm also a jeweler by profession. And now Salt and All is also a proper full-fledged business. So So yeah.
Isn't it incredible that Saltanol is just about 2 years old and has garnered so much interest? What was the first recipe that you put on Instagram that got all the attention? Do you remember
So
your?
I made, yes, I do. I actually do. And that's when everyone told me, you have to stop putting this on your personal profile. It has to reach more people because my personal profile is private, right?
Right.
So only the 300 people who were following me could actually see what I was putting up. So I had made this homemade cream cheese inspired by, I can't recall who at the time, but I did a lot of research, I remember, and I made homemade cream cheese with bagels. And it just went crazy. Like everyone was like, what is this? This is amazing. And I know so many people made it. They incorporated in their dips. They had it as on toast, so many different ways. So I was like, okay, this is really motivating now. So let's take this forward. And that's how I started the new page.
Wonderful. And I know what the first recipe was that got a lot of interest. But what are some of your favorite creations? I know my favorite ones. I'll share them along
Like,
during the interview. But what are some of your favorite ones that you've done?
so I have grown to understand what gluten free is. And I've done a lot of research on what exactly is gluten free. Sometimes you think that whole wheat is healthy, but it's not gluten free. So
Right.
it is not as healthy as, say, a few gluten free flours. So things like that. So I experimented on this one recipe, which is a zucchini cannelloni. And I think the very first time I made it, it was a hit. And since then, I've hosted parties, I've hosted dinners. I've always had that as a staple um, dish as part of my menu. So because everyone's always enjoyed it. So it's a gluten-free zucchini cannelloni. So I've used zucchini instead of cannelloni rolls, pasta rolls, and I've filled it up with not ricotta, paneer, because I believe in using easily available ingredients.
Yes.
So I made a filling out of paneer, and it's with a roasted red pepper sauce. So that sauce is actually also my favorite. I'm actually getting hungry thinking about it. It's my lunchtime, so I'm actually getting hungry thinking about this. But I might just make it for dinner now.
I wish there was a way to send it across the sea.
I know.
Oh dear. But where does inspiration and ideation originate for you? As in, what inspires you, or how do you come up with your recipes?
So I think Instagram has seen a huge flood of content creators in the last 2 years. And I think a big chunk has to do with food content creators.
Right.
And I think, so many people, so many new accounts created, and it's amazing to see everything that everyone is creating because, yes, it somehow might overlap, but there's always your own intake on a recipe.
Yes.
Even like some dips, if I'm inspired by someone, I know that I like my dips spicy. So even though the spice doesn't go in it originally, I make it my way and I add that spice into it. So in terms of inspiration, YouTube, a lot of Instagram recipe developers, content creators,
right,
and MasterChef. Actually, for years, I've been following MasterChef Australia, a few seasons MasterChef India, and yeah, it's a great way to get inspired.
Excellent. Yes, a MasterChef is definitely a great inspiration. And I've seen that you've been focusing a fair amount on local produce, and you've been highlighting some organic brands as well. Would you like to tell us a little bit more?
Yes. So to be very honest, I don't, on a daily basis, I don't purchase organic produce. I feel it's important to also help the local vendors. So that's where we get our produce from. But yes, because also it's very difficult to tell whether a certain organic brand is authentic or not.
Totally. Yes.
But yes, I have been in contact with a lot of organic brands, and it's great. I see the difference in the produce. I see how it might not be as colorful, but yes, I know that it's very genuine. It's not, there's no food color in it, things like that. Like even when you wash your greens,
Right.
a lot of times when you get it from local vendors, there's a lot of like green liquid coming out, which doesn't happen when you get the same exact produce from an organic brand. And
Right.
that's where I think a lot of them stand out, you
Right.
know. Um, so in terms of local produce, I believe that when I cook at home, I don't like to purchase very expensive ingredients while cooking at home. So something like I mentioned about the ricotta and paneer, it
Yes.
is a different flavor, yes,
Yes.
but it will taste as good if you just season it, you know. And there's a way to make anything that's less expensive also taste amazing. And in that process, whenever I go to the supermarket also, I would see which international brands are there for something like cheese and which local brands are there. And I would first pick out the local brand, try it, see if it's actually as good,
Uh-huh.
and then recommend, you know.
Yeah.
So something, I mean, it should be something that's easily available in your pantry. Now
Mhm.
that everyone's back to the grind, people don't have time to make lengthy recipes and cook with fancy ingredients. Like sushi ingredients were sold out during lockdown, but now it's all stocked up in every supermarket. Yeah, because everyone was going all out. So
Yeah.
my recipes have also changed over time.
Yes.
Earlier it used to be a lot of baking, a lot of intricate details in the recipe, lengthy recipe, meals, those kind of things. I have soon switched over to easy recipes, things that
Yeah.
you can make within 30 minutes because everyone is in a rush. I mean, I know I'm always on the move, and Bombay is a very busy life. So I believe that it's important to share something that people will actually want to adapt, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so local produce, easy, quick recipes is
Yes.
definitely my forte and my go to.
Totally. And Nikita, that's actually what's drawn me to your page over and over again. It's the global appeal of your recipes in the sense
Yeah.
that whatever you're cooking over there, I can easily make over here. Okay. Because you use
Yes.
things like oats, easily available. You use ricotta, you use mascarpone,
Yeah.
you use things that I can easily access over here. So I like the
Yes.
global appeal of your recipes. Um, and now moving on to mango, which is actually what's in season right now. And why I
Yeah.
said that is because I remembered something on your page. Tell me about how you're using seasonal produce at the moment.
So at the moment, mango is my daily. I have one mango a day. I have
Ah,
it in the morning as my fruit. And otherwise, I like to incorporate it in everything.
right.
So, like, I made a dip out of it, which I wasn't very sure about.
Loved
I
it.
was wondering if the flavors will work, but they actually did, and I was like, oh my god, this works. In fact, the recipe that's going up today, this evening, is also has mango in it. So yeah, so anything seasonal. When we had strawberries in December,
Yes.
I had a whole strawberry week because I had so many recipes to share
Right.
related to strawberry.
Right.
I was like, this has to go up, it's important because it's some really fun recipes, savory and sweet. Sometimes people think that fruits are only good for sweet, dishes, but you can
Right.
actually use them in a lot of savory food and it tastes great. So yeah, now I think Kala Jambon is in season.
Oh,
So I was actually speaking to a brand yesterday, and I told them like I would love to work with Kala Jambon for you. So cherries are in season. In
really?
terms of vegetables or summer vegetables, I love cooking with cucumbers. A, I have one entire cucumber every single day because it's so cooling. It's so
Yes.
good. It's the best thing.
I can imagine.
So
Yeah.
watermelon is also another
Fabulous.
great fruit for summers. It's so hot here.
I know.
So
I
it's
heard
the best.
there's a heat wave at the
Yeah,
moment over there.
yeah, it's really hot. So watermelon is great. So yeah, anything seasonal, I like to incorporate in my recipes, and also because I have it on a daily basis.
Uh-huh.
So I like to showcase a little part of my life and showcase that on my profile as well. So it kind of resonates with the audience, because a lot of people have similar tastes
Right.
and similar kind of habits. Like maybe I
Yes.
wouldn't know unless and until I don't put it out there, and then people message me and tell me, "Oh yes, this is exactly what we do." Like this is a Sunday meal now. Ras rotli is like a typical Sunday Gujarati meal when mango is in season.
Yes.
So, if I put up a picture on my story, I was like, yeah, that is exactly what we have as well. And it's just exciting to know where everyone else also comes from.
Yes, totally. And apart from creating food, you're also a food critic in the sense that you have tried out many of the local restaurants
Yes.
over there. Would you like to tell us one or two of your favorites? And maybe share an anecdote of one that was a little bit of a disappointment. You don't need to name the entity, but you can tell us the ones that you thought were wow and quite a discovery in Bombay,
Yes.
in and around India.
So you haven't been here since 2018, right?
Yeah, but I've been following. I've been following up on the
Yeah.
restaurant scene over there.
Have you heard of Nutcracker? I think it's been longer since it's been there in
That is Lower
Kalagoda.
Parel.
There's one in Lower Parel. Now they've opened up a lot of branches.
Aha,
Earlier, it started off with the only one in Kalagoda.
right. Yes.
And
Aha,
yes, and they have some amazing food. I think I have been there a lot of times already.
aha,
And every time my husband and I are looking for something quick to eat,
right.
although it's not very close to where I stay, but we just love going there. It's great food. It's
Aha,
a small cafe, especially the one that's in town is a very small one, but such amazing food. And we have a standard list of things that we order from there.
aha,
And if we go with a bigger group, we'll end up trying new things. And every time we've tried something new, also, I don't think I've ever been disappointed with any dish on their menu.
aha. Wow.
And I also made a post about it, made a reel about it, like my top 5 things to eat at Nutcracker because I love that restaurant. There's also this restaurant called Beirut, Lebanese food.
Yes, yes. That's not
Yeah.
too far from where I stay in Bombay. So yes.
Yes, it's in Cliff Parade. And having lived in London, I've had such amazing Lebanese food. And it's been a while since someone has actually brought that authentic Lebanese from Edgware Road in London here, in
Yeah.
a more fancier and more, fine dining kind of way. But the flavors are amazing. From the starters, the dips, to the meze platter, to the dessert, everything is just fabulous. And we have a lot of Jain friends.
Uh-huh.
So even they enjoy the food there because they have a couple of Jain options.
Right.
So yeah, it's great. I enjoy going there.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. One that was, you don't have to name it, but one that was a little bit of a disappointment. One of those overhyped ones, and you're like, really?
So this restaurant that is opening up another branch, actually a huge one, is we went there for a meal. It's known for its nightlife, for live performances and things like that. But when you're serving food, you have to know what you're serving, right? So we ordered a Caesar salad.
Uh-huh.
It came with mozzarella. And Caesar salad, I think,
Exactly.
is the most is the most common salad you'll find through the globe. I mean,
Yes,
I don't think one can go wrong with Caesar salad. I mean, parmesan is the key ingredient that goes
exactly.
in the dressing and is when it's shaved on top. So I don't know how I sent it back, and then it came back with the mozzarella. And then I sent it back, and we just didn't have time to go all back and
Back
forth.
and
So I was
forth.
like, just cancel this thing.
You're right.
But yeah, like there are of course a lot more experiences. But this I thought was the most basic thing. If
Right.
you're if you are experimenting it with a recipe, I understand. But one is the most basic salad that I
Right.
think so many people have,
Right.
you just can't go wrong with it. And how can a chef go wrong with it? So
Totally.
yeah,
And Nikita,
that's
you've
I
been
think that's about it.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I'll ask you when I come there which one not to go to.
Yes, yes. You should WhatsApp that to me so that we can have this conversation off this record.
Totally. And you've been highlighting other home chefs recently. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
So it's been a while since I've put up more interviews because I've been really busy with Salt and All. So that's another profile called Salt and All, Stories by Salt and All that I created,
Uh-huh,
designated to these stories.
uh-huh,
And it actually resonates a lot with what you are doing, the who behind the what kind of a thing. A lot of home chefs emerged during the lockdown. A lot of them have converted that passion into a business. A
right,
lot of them have given it up and are back to their old jobs and things like that. But
right,
there was something that made them start that particular business, right?
right.
And that's exactly what I wanted to showcase through those interviews. Um, there were a lot of platforms that were already talking about the food that they are selling.
Right,
But I was not interested in the food because I've not tasted the food from everyone. I've
right.
just tasted a few things. But I think the way I started Salt and All, a lot of people have started these kind of things and
Uh,
now have pursued it as a career
right.
and have open kitchens, they have cloud kitchens now and
Yes.
have moved forward. And it's great to know that. So even though some of my interviews are so old, I know I'm in touch with all those chefs and I know what they're doing now. And
Right.
it's just great to know that they are flourishing in the same field.
Yes, you've created quite a
So
community.
yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to help create that kind of community and also somehow, help each other. Um, and yeah, that's, yeah.
Excellent.
It's been actually rewarding to know, to learn the stories that everyone had. And some, one of the chefs that I interviewed, she still sells Japanese food. But her audience, I think most of her audience would have never known that she actually grew in Japan. She's born and brought up in Japan, and that's exactly why her flavors are a lot more authentic than
Mm-hmm.
what they would be, with someone else. So
Totally.
those kind of things were very interesting, and that's exactly why I wanted to highlight these kind of things and show the audience that there's a lot more behind a home chef than
Uh-huh.
just the food that they are dishing out.
Excellent. And Nikita, before I say goodbye to you and let you go create your cannelloni and make me
Yeah.
dream of it, what would you like to see manifest in the near future for you?
I have a lot of plans in place. I keep jotting them down in my book. I have this one book which is dedicated to Salt and All, and I
Ah,
keep jotting things down. So let's see. I am in the process of creating a small space designated to my cooking because right now I cook from my room. I have great light here.
ah,
That's where I'm sitting right now.
I can see
So,
that.
I have a space there, but it would be nice to have a more designated space. So I'm trying to create a studio
Uh-huh.
and then hopefully more brand collaborations, of course. But I also want to learn a lot more about food because I'm actually self-taught.
Mhm.
So recently I did a low carb series, which I started doing a lot of research on, and initially I would think that this particular food item is low carb, but it actually isn't when you put it down in a nutritional calculator and you actually see the kind of carbs it can give you. So those kind of things actually made me realize that it would be really nice to understand a lot more about nutrition so
Right.
that even if I'm saying something is low carb or something is healthy or something is gluten free or it's vegan, I can actually vouch for it because I am trained, I have the knowledge. And yeah, so anything and everything to do with food, a lot of plans in place. Let's see how they turn out. But yeah, to start with, I would want to learn more. So I want to educate myself on it.
Thank you, Nikita. That was just excellent. I can't wait to see what comes out on your feed in the near future. And also wishing you all the very, very best for all that
Thank
you
you
wish
so
to
much.
manifest. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you
delight.
so much, Manisha, for having me. This was amazing. It was so good to share so much about my story and my life with you.
It's my pleasure. And I can't wait to actually meet you in person.
Yes, you should. We are not very far away. So when you come down, we have to see each other for sure.
Sounds good. Take care, Nikita.
You too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.